cold start. I did a muffler delete on my car a few weeks ago. It's been sitting. I uploaded the Vano solenoid video and a little bit of information on my thermostat and water pump. Well, today we're back and we're putting more parts on it. Unfortunately, not really performance parts. I mean, I guess you could consider that because it's not running right, it's not driving right. I was getting a code 2D2E, which is why we got this today. New throttle valve from ECS Tuning. What I'm doing is I'm building boost up to like 12, 15. It's going, 15, 16, 12, 7, 5, whatever. It's not holding boost. So I thought it was the tuner. I thought it was the boost solenoids. I thought it was maybe even the spring or Vano's solenoids in my car. The springs in my blow-off valve. Anyways, you can see the boost solenoids right here and right here. I thought it might have been those. Well, I thought it was the Vano's, but it wasn't. Most of my vacuum lines are upgraded, which probably my next step will be to upgrade the rest of them. But we're gonna throw that bad boy on there, and we'll see where we go. All right, let's unbox this thing and see what we got. There it is. Looks like 4 10mm bolts, plug, and probably a vacuum line of sorts. But we'll go through all that. Came with a new seal. I'm gonna pull mine off. Hopefully it's just covered in shit in here, and this is the problem, because it's not driving right, and yeah, it's kind of pissing me off, to tell you the truth. I had to buy a little kit here, a little sanding kit. Comes with 400 all the way up to 2500 grit sandpaper, because I curved my wheel. Yeah, sucks. It wasn't horrible, but it's definitely enough. Obviously, I've sanded it down, but considering I've had these wheels and tires on here for like 4 months, and I knew it was going to happen too. That's the shitty part. I was like, man, I hope I don't curb my boom. Curbed it. So anyways, bought a new wheel, because I'm not going to try to color match that or do anything with that. I wasn't going to pull them all off and have them powder coated. It just wasn't worth it to me. So I bought a new wheel that should be coming in the mail here soon. We'll pull this one off, take it down, and have it swapped. All right, let's get started. Two bolts in the front here, two screws. Two screws in the front here to take this air duct off. I'm sure you can get away with not doing it, but we're gonna do it. Quick and easy. Here. You don't have to be so rough with it like I was, but it's whatever. Pop this guy off, and this is basically held on by your same, if you had your factory intake, for this aftermarket intake, you just take the factory grommets. It's all the same factory connections. We'll pull up on that, but first we're gonna release the intakes here, and we should be good to go. Two of these guys here. and easy. Super nice and loose. Lift up on here. Pull it back. Guy out. Pull them out. There you go. Just like so. Probably gonna clean these too while we have them off. We might as well. Alright, got the intakes off, and here's our throttle valve. I'm gonna disconnect our charge pipe. I have a forged charge pipe. I'm gonna cut this right here rather than try to be violent and pull it off, because I have a ton of this and I don't want to screw something else up over a 2-cent hose. So let's throw another one of those on there. Looks like 4 10mm, and the airline back there, and one power connection. So pretty simple. We'll pull that guy off and loosen this rubber boot up, and probably take this Allen bolt. My forged pipe, it retains the, everyone pretty much retains the factory bolt for your stock charge pipe. Alright, so where we cut our vacuum line off the, God, I can't even think right now. My blow-off valve, and then we're going to loosen this band right here, pull off the boot, and then we'll pull off the charge pipe, and then we'll work on the valve. Alright, band's loosened up. Allen bolt is off. Under this guy here. Just pull on him. A lot of the times they'll just come right off completely, which is fine. Honestly, it's not going to make a difference. Just slide it back on and remember which way it went. And then we're going to have to try to mess with this a little bit because it's really tight in here. The fitment on this is, it's good, but there's a lot of stuff going on in here, so kind of a pain in the ass. You got to kind of wiggle it back and forth and get everything out of the way so you can get the boot off. And the boot's kind of a pain in the ass, but we'll get them separated here at the boot, probably where you can't see. That guy off, we can maneuver. So I'm slowly working the boot off. Took the bolt out. You can kind of see it there by the inlet. Yeah, we'll work it a little bit at a time. We're going to create a little bit more space here and disconnect this power steering reservoir too. It'll just be easier in the long run. With this car, unfortunately, to do simple tasks, you don't have to, but it's a million times easier to move stuff out of your way at the end of the day so you don't get pissed and break something, which I'm in a pretty chill mood today, so hopefully I don't break anything. 2 10mm bolts, and then the little yellow thing that I just dropped. It's a little stupid shim that I added to make a little bit more clearance for my blow-off valve so they weren't rattling together. So 2 nuts, 2 washers, and we'll slide that right out of the way. Guys, something I forgot to mention is, and I hope you can hear me, don't forget to disconnect the battery, the negative lead, if you're doing stuff like this. I'm guilty of not doing it every single time, but when I remember, I do. Once you got this, just slide this out of the way. You'll be better off. I'll probably bungee that. My shim's gone, but oh, I see it. Probably bungee this up out of the way. It just gives us that extra little bit of space to work in here. All right, we're gonna add a little extra light in here so we can see a little bit better. So sometimes you're gonna have to get back in behind here. There's little tabs like ear things to help that last little bit out of there. This was being a bit of a you know what, and we're gonna see if we can't finagle this guy off of here nice and easy, and get him away from this boot here. There we go. And we gotta disconnect that air fuel sensor. which is pretty straightforward. There's a little tab. Hooked up on a little tab and pull out. And you should be good to go. Do that. Probably can't see anything, but I will show you in a second. There. It's kind of a pain to get in here. Big tool. Alright, I can't catch up on everything in here, so that's what happens. Alright, that's what I was talking about. Can't see it. Boom. Little clip right there. Pull it out. Good to go. Now that we've got that off, it'll be a good opportunity to check this oil catch can. Probably less than 300 miles on this since I installed it. I'm kind of curious to see what it looks like because there was a little bit of oil inside the charge pipe. Nothing serious, nothing like my stock one, but let's see if we're getting anything here. Maybe long-winded. Much, nothing serious, so pretty clean. All right, let's pull that valve off and see what we can come up with here. I'm gonna go nice and easy because I'm pretty sure it's in plastic down there, so feel that bolt. So I got this on ECS tuning for about 250 shipped, so it wasn't horrible. I don't even want to know what a shop would charge you to do this, but just to kind of recap, the reason I'm doing it is because I believe why I'm not building boost and why the car won't run right at high RPMs is, and my blow-off valve keeps going off like the car's shifting or wants to shift or thinks it's shifting or whatever it is because of this sensor here. So these lower bolts, and we'll know here. Well, I think we'll know. I don't really want to take it out. It's been kind of snowing here lately, but I'll do an update video. I'll let you guys know what I came up with, and I'm sure I'm blocking everything, but it's pretty straightforward. You got 4 bolts. You can see me pulling them out. You can see the configuration of the part. So it shouldn't be that hard to figure it out. Try not to drop this one. Try is the key word. One out. Pull that out and away. All right. Well, on the back there, the vacuum line similar to this line here. You just pinch it and pull from what I can tell. So that's what we're gonna do. Whether or not it's gonna be a pain in the ass is a whole separate freaking thing. There we go. Squeeze it, hopefully you saw that. And then the connection is down below. And I'll show you that. All right, and that's the power connection. Sorry for the shaky video. We'll pull that guy off and then we'll grab the new one. You can see it's got a little clip and release. If you've ever worked on these, you know this little vacuum liner, whatever the hell it is always in the way. Fucking annoying. Let's see if that's probably dual-sided. I want to break that sucker, so let's take a closer look at that guy. Looks like he's got a little clip right there. Let's see if that's the case. That's with him. I'll break it, so I want to definitely take my time. There's a squeeze here and here. Definitely squeeze there. And that one for sure. This is where we want to take our time because A, I've never done this. So I know that's most definitely one. This other guy, quite sure what that is, but we'll figure it out. Maybe. Is there two spots to clip him on? Alright, that was a bit of a pain in the ass. You got that guy right there, you gotta get your fingernail up underneath it and pull back at the same time and then push down on this top one and then it releases. That releases. What the hell's going on here? Alright. That was kind of freaking me out a little bit because these two things were trying to separate, the plug and then the plug case, but we got it figured out. Came apart pretty easy. So got a little bit of sitting there, nothing too serious. This is probably the part we're most concerned about right here. So we'll grab the new one and toss that guy on. Just a little comparison between the two. They pretty much look the exact same. This part right here is flat though, which is, I guess I don't know if it really matters. It looks like an even seating surface, and then this one right here is raised. So other than that, it looks the exact same. Siemens here and Continental here. So anyways, hopefully that's the fix, and we'll go from there. Overview of the two, pretty much the exact same. I guess there is a difference. This guy's got machined dead end and machined dead end in there, and this one doesn't. So I don't know if that's part of the casting or manufacture process or what it is, but everything looks the exact same. This has the same connections, same amount of prongs or plugs or whatever you want to call it. Might be a little overkill, but this is the markings on the new one. It's made in Germany. Looks pretty legit. It's from ECS Tuning, so can't go horribly wrong. This one's obviously OEM BMW. Hopefully you can see that. Clean that up a little bit and see a little bit better. Maybe. Pretty much the same. So that's what your stock one should look like, unless it's been replaced. We'll move on to installing a few of the parts that I had to pull off, and then I kind of got my parts, not necessarily graveyard, but, and then I got some other ones in the shelves, but try to keep them just in case. Trial trial by error, really, or whatever you want to call it, because I'm not paying someone else to do this because it would be expensive, and allows me the ability to maybe help someone out and make some okay content. Got the seal cleaned up. We'll plug everything in reverse the way we took it off, and then we'll start the bolts slowly, get them in there, and they weren't tight at all, really, so we're not gonna put them any tighter than they were before. Should be good to go. That should only plug in one way. It's on there nice and tight. So rotate that around like we had it before. Hopefully you can see this. Reinstall this guy. Clicked on there. I'm sure you heard that. Got her plugged in. Get her up here and started. See how this bad boy fits. Just kind of want to dry fit it a little bit as much as possible before I start a bolt, just to make sure everything's lining up right. God, this thing's a pain in the ass. Make sure everything's lining up right. It's a solid surface. There's nothing the gasket slides into. So take your time. Don't cross thread anything. And you should be good to go. Get this first one in here and started semi-snug. You know we got everything plugged in, so we should be good to go there. I'll probably do 2 tops and then worry about the bottom in a minute. Fitment so far so good. You can see the gasket seating surface, so I'm satisfied with that so far. I'm not gonna torque these down just in case we gotta manipulate them one way or another, and we don't want to strip them out because we don't want to buy a new part. So everything's looking good so far. I'll start that bottom one and we should be good to go. Start by slowly tightening each one of these individually like a tire pattern, just to make sure that it's okay. That was opposite of a tire pattern, but now like a tire pattern. I'm gonna go back and forth, getting each one a little tighter each time. Definitely trying to feel it out too, right? Because you can't see a lot of this stuff, but each one tighten evenly, nice and easy. I'm sure you guys seen these weren't even really that tight to begin with. I can see that seal is gradually depressing. Just making good contact. And we're getting a little bit tighter, boys, as we go. Hopefully this is the ticket fixing our issue with, and I think I misspoke. I'm building boost. Boost is not the issue. It's retaining it. It's holding boost before the car thinks it's shifting or doing something silly. So that's the issue. So I misspoke when I said that. But this guy, I found it 10 other times, can't seem to find it now. This guy. Just above hand tight, going real easy on it. It wasn't tight for shit, so I'll call that good. Put that guy on there. Everything looks good. Fitment's good. No gaps around either side. Everything's plugged in good. Plug. Everything looks good to go. Worst case scenario, I can still reach this guy, but he's on there. Looking good so far. We'll do everything in reverse the way we took it off. All right, now for the fun part. Watch me struggling to get this charge pipe on. Gotta do it like that movie Beer Fest, where you gotta put the boot with the beer in it just right to get that last little bit. It's the same way this thing is. It's kind of a bitch. I'm probably gonna have to loosen up this other part of this boot, speaking of boots, to manipulate it where I want it to be, but you definitely don't want this blown off when you're trying to build boost and you're in the middle of doing your thing, because I can speak from experience. It happened. All right, that's on. Click that down in there. We'll worry about getting the boot on this side now and go from there. Once that guy's on there, it'll rotate, so it's not that big of a deal. You can kind of manipulate it around to get this boot on here. Turn it a little bit. Make sure this thing's seated around the pipe. I'm probably blocking everyone's view here. Make sure the boot's around the pipe. Get that kind of started in there. And everything kind of just rests down where it needs to be. Hopefully you saw that. Everything kind of just goes to its home. I'll plug the air, put this guy back in. Probably should have did that ahead of time, but we'll get him. He ain't gonna beat us. Alright, I got him plugged in. So far everything's plugged in. That guy's good. I heard it click. Boot's on. Bring our clamp up here, since we're either constantly working on this car or modifying the car, doing whatever. I always make sure the clamps are easily accessible. Not to say we won't have to move it once we put the power steering reservoir back where it goes, but we want to make sure everything's seated properly, because if these blow off in the middle of something cool like street race in Mexico, not on local streets because that's against the law, that would suck if it came off. So make sure that boot's getting good contact and has a little bit on either side, and we'll kind of just lightly tighten it down for now until we get everything in its final resting place. Get him kind of where he needs to be. This tight fit for this stuff. Temporary spot there. All right, I didn't film that part, but pretty simple. Let's put the two 10mm bolts back on here. Make sure we got enough space with our blow-off valve. Tighten down the ring clamp or whatever it was. Everything's good to go. Tighten down this retainer bolt right here that's provided in the kit. You have a factory one too. I still have that somewhere, but this is the one that came for the kit. Tighten this guy down, and then hard part's over. I thought it was extremely hard, guys. It's pretty simple to do this. Save a ton of money doing it yourself too. That's the key. That's the most important part, honestly. All right, reinstall our vacuum line here. Blow off valve, which it is kind of a bugger to get it all the way on there. We'll get it temporary for now. We'll push it the rest of the way here shortly. We'll throw our intake back on so we can pull these guys off individually later. Slide it in one side. Slide it in the other. Our factory. There we go. I think clicked in there. This guy can click back on here, tighten down our clamps, and push our vacuum line back on there, put our air duct. Now we should be good to go. Let's fire it up. Let's see what we did. Pretty simple stuff to do. We'll go. We'll let the car warm up. We'll turn the JB4 on, connect to it, and take it for a quick cruise. So the only lights I've seen were the regular lights that come on every time you disconnect the battery. So we'll take it for a cruise and see what we get. Thanks for joining me with this video. I hope you liked it. Thanks.